Hello, this is Misha from Quick Start Forex with a quick live trades video. I just want to share a trade that happened and some nuances of trades that didn't happen. Alright, so the first one is New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Just to quickly show the support and resistance areas, I basically placed them from the 8-hour and then refined them using the 6 and 4-hour charts. So as you can see here, we have a clear support and resistance area around the 0.6950 level and here at the bottom. And probably here one as well, I just didn't draw it in yet. I like to keep my charts clean. Alright, so if we go to the 4-hour, you will see here a nice little setup that occurred yesterday. We see a very strong bull move into our support and resistance area. We see here a bearish pin bar, which indicates the story. What is the story? I want you to understand the price action story. So bulls were in complete control, buyers dominated then around this area where we expect sellers could enter the market, and it did look like they gave a fight. So after this candle, we kind of say we are indecision. We don't know where the market will be headed next, but we have a bearish bias because of the close, the second half of this candle here. Alright, so entry was 5 to 10 pips below the low of this indecision candle. Entered, target was 1.5, easily reached. Alright, so just a very simple, quick trade. Just a very good quick trade. What I also wanted to show here is the reason I took this trade, because as is, it's a bit low for me. I would want the indecision candle to be a bit higher, sort of on top of my area. However, on the daily chart, if you scroll back, we can see here, if I draw a trend line from the top of the move, first bounce, or highest bounce rather, and connect these two, and I go back to my 4-hour, you will see that that actually acts as a resistance also. So we broke through the resistance, piercing through it, but didn't close above it, and that just gave extra confluence to the trade. Alright, so the next one here is on Euro US dollar. Just quickly see where I got the support and resistance area from. Alright, so from back here was the last time price was around this area. This is a very simple area. We see a nice bounce here, some stalling, then another bounce here, wick bounce, sort of, I think on the 4-hour it looks a bit better. Here, sort of a body bounce. Well, point is, it didn't, around this area, it didn't manage to break through, and another wick bounce, another body bounce. This was news. Alright, so let's go back here, and we can see the setup nicely forming on the 6-hour chart. Alright, so we have a very strong bear move in an uptrend, which is not that great. First point, we are going against the trend. Then we have a very nice indecision candle, right? This is kind of the one that you want to see, but what's the problem? It's at the wrong place. What would happen if we sell after this indecision candle? What is in our way? We have an area here where we know buyers might be lurking, right? While we were under the support and resistance area, this would function as resistance. But as soon as we break through it, remember, resistance can become support and support can become resistance. So I did not take this trade. That would be silly, even if this works out, right? It does look like it worked out quite nicely. So 30 pips, 1.5 is 45. So we would definitely have profited from this trade. However, this is not a proper setup in my books. You would be selling into support, into an area where potential buyers may be lurking. I just wanted to point this out. Even though it looks beautiful and it did break through and it would have made profit, I would never take this trade. Never. Because it's against my trading plan. It's against the whole concept. We're selling into a potential buy area. that just reduces the probability, and it's just a bad setup in general. So just quickly wanted to show that. Then the last one is a bit of a more just a show and tell. I didn't take this trade, I probably am not going to, but I just want to share what's up with it. Alright, so let's just go to the 8 hour, quickly see support and resistance areas. Here, this one, not too great because there could be another area around here. But we've got some bounces there, wick bounce, body bounce, some congestion. You can clearly see the price. Just imagine being this price and you're pushing against this wall and you're not breaking through, and then eventually you broke through. That is resistance, as you can see. It's stalling price. Then this other area here, it's just a very nice clean support and resistance area. Alright, so what's happening here? Let me see which chart I wanted to show. Alright, so this was also a bit of news also. So that's why we see these big moves within 6 hours. But we have a strong bear move, and now we see a lot of indecision happening. Price doesn't know where it wants to go. It's sort of stalled here, went up, closed down, went down, closed up, and now it looks like we're breaking through to the upside. But also it does look like there are a lot of sellers here also with this wick here, if that makes any sense. So buyers pushed up, sellers pushed it down again and down again, so it still looks like it doesn't know exactly where it wants to go. What I want to show though is another tool that we can use here in terms of support and resistance area. As you can see here, it's in between these two areas. However, if we draw a Fibonacci retracement, we can see, and I go back to the 6 hour, this is sort of exactly where our stalling occurs, right? If this were on top of a support and resistance area, if this were, in other words, confluent, or we would trade it with confluence, then I would probably consider entering this trade, because we have a nice Fibonacci retracement and what looks like a very strong up move. And this is the natural pause, the 50 to 618 area, before it might consider going up again, continuing the trend. So that's all I wanted to share. Also, actually, there's one more thing I wanted to share. Going to the 4 hour, let me just take this Fibonacci area out. We know it's in between these two areas, alright? So we have here a strong bear move, we have very nice indecision forming, so this could be a potential setup if it were on confluent zones. So if it were with a support and resistance area, maybe the 50 EMA, maybe Fibonacci, or just the support and resistance area. That's for me the strongest sort of point. I kind of always wanted to align on a support and resistance area. As you can see here, we have indecision. If this were on the right area, it would be a proper setup, but it wasn't. What we often see then is a fake break. Do you see here after this price action, we sort of attempted to move higher. That was completely failed. But I want to talk about this here. So is another pin bar breaking the low of this indecision candle. Alright, so we have, this is, kind of explaining why so many people lose money. They see, even if they use price action, they don't trade with confluence. So we see a nice bear move, indecision. Alright, obviously this trend will reverse. It also looks like it is sort of in line with the motion, with the trend. It does, some people just don't know how to trade. And then they buy here, and what happens? Price immediately reverses. There are stop losses probably just below this indecision candle. You get stopped out, and then the price just most likely goes up again. Right? Hasn't that happened to you before? It's happened to me before as well. So be careful of these fake breaks, especially if your trade setup is not nice. This is not even a trade setup because it's not based on confluence. But I just want to make a point here. So fake breaks do happen quite a lot, and after a fake break, that is a setup in itself. That just improves the the probability of the initial setup, which it wasn't really initial setup, but now with this information you could consider going long here. I'm not going to, it's just not enough confluence for me. The 50 fib area, if price would have been just a bit nicer on a support and resistance area, I would definitely consider this trade. That's all for today. I hope that helps a bit. I know it's actually turned out to be a bit longer video, but I just want to share some knowledge with you. All the best and chat soon.